Hiya, Cosmic Cat here. Hiya is in higher vibrations. Let's lift our vibrations up. Yes, I'm in my robe. This is a little bit of a robe series here today, but nonetheless, there's still a lot of messages that I'm going to share with you today from my scrying session I have just done, okay? This is the 411, and I'm not sure if you remember the 411, but that was a big deal back some time ago. It was always like, what's up? What's going on? What's happening? The scoop, the skinny. So I'm going to give you all that right here from the scrying session I just done, okay? And please, this is general messages here that I was given and guided to share. So please take whatever resonates for you and leave behind what doesn't for someone else, okay? But these are messages that Spirit wants you to know about and to work with, to use as a tool, use as an affirmation as to something that maybe you've been going through. So, okay, let's just get right into it. So the very first thing was during the meditation before I did the scrying, because I meditate before the scry and then I scry, then I meditate after. And there were high emotions rising up and then falling down to a calm state. So, and as I say it right now, I'm going to go with what I'm feeling, and also if I get downloaded messages, okay, I'm going to share with you. So I'm just going to flow with it. This is giving me a feeling of bipolar, like extreme emotions or manic depression or something of that nature. I'm not a doctor. Please see your doctor if you need to see your doctor. But there was like this really high, and then also just regular everyday life. It's a cycle. The way I felt was like the high emotions rising up and then falling down to a calm state. So, and I have wrote here like breath cycle. And I guess like a breath cycle rises your gut, your belly rises, and then it contracts. So it's like it goes expands and then retracts. But I couldn't help but feel the roller coaster, like a roller coaster too, ups and downs. Are you having a lot of highs and lows? Sometimes we go through those phases in life, don't we? And they're cycles. That's what they are. Someone's in this cycle right now, okay? And you've got this. Just know that it's a cycle. You can use any kind of mantra, any message or uplifting affirmation that you'd like. One of the ones that I like to use in times when it's really high or low and just can't seem to have that steady balance and stable ground is this too shall pass, knowing that I won't always be in this position. So that may help you. And if you have one that you'd like to recommend, please drop that in the comments below for us. A very, and whoever this message is for, your solar and your sacral chakra are very active and could be overactive right now. So that's something that you want to figure out. And it was like my body trying to speak, not my mouth talking, but my body, like my belly was talking. If you've ever had that, not just a grumble, but like where you actually just say something to me. Something like that. Kind of weird, but yeah. And when I was saying the solar and sacral chakras, I said sailor, and then lost sailor came to mind. And I just pulled that card. Lost Sailor is a card out of my Grateful Dead tarot deck, and it is the Two of Wands. So if you're feeling like that Two of Wands energy, like a lost sailor, or if you know that Grateful Dead song, then that is someone speaking to someone out there too. Then I saw this golden aura, a light worker, shifting into a light worker. Somebody's shifting into a light worker, like you've felt it, you've always known you were a light worker, and you're just now shifting into it. You might want to check out some of my short videos because I recently did just pull something like this. Also, the Lost Sailor came up in a recent reading as well. That may have been a birthday reading. I do those every day, but it may have not been. I can't remember. So then I heard a heartbeat, and just the heartbeat, it was really still. So there's something about stillness and quiet time that's needed for somebody out there. Then in a really long distance, there was a woodpecker, and it didn't peck just one sequence, one set. And it did in intervals. So it was almost like it reminded me of the old coding, like the old messages that the way that people, what is that called? Where it's like where they would send messages. We just watched the Titanic recently, and they have that where it's like sending a signal and stuff. Anyway, that's kind of what it seemed brought to me. Have you had a visitor? Somebody's had a visitor recently, or just someone just knocked on your door. The cutting of a tree, or someone likes to cut wood. Who is that? You like to cut wood? We had carpentry come up yesterday or day before on the scrying session. Curiosity times 2 to the second power. Curiosity came up twice. It was a curiosity of witches. So there was some curiosity of witches, their wounds. The shame and guilt are only 2. Yeah. So you're looking into, perhaps you saw the scrying message last week or whenever that was about witch wounds and guilt and shame, and perhaps maybe that sparked you to look into more. Please feel free to share any information you found about it. And Spirit said, use your divine golden light to shine bright. Use your divine golden light to shine bright. Be fearless and an observer. So who is this? Somebody is. Rising up for an occasion. What occasion are you rising up for at this time? Then I felt anxious. Is it anxious about this rising up for an occasion? Is it the occasion that you're anxious about? Some sort of party or, yeah, there's some sort of occasion that you're anxious about. And this could be a healthy anxious of where you're getting prepped for public speaking, a speech, teaching others about something, or perhaps performing, acting, or musicians. But it could also be unhealthy in a way that is worry, uneasy feeling, just unsettling feeling that really needs to be healed by giving it attention, writing about it, detoxing, understanding, getting to the root, the very root of it. That's what it requires, really. It really does. It requires you being ready to do that, digging deep. So as soon as I began scrying, I saw other dimensions. So somebody is astral traveling. Is that you? Are you traveling astrally out of body experiences to non-physical dimensions? Then I saw crossroads, crossing lines. Are you like somebody feels like they're at a crossroads, or they literally are at like a railroad track stop, crossing lines? Are other people crossing your lines? And I just heard the download boundaries. Are there others crossing your boundaries that you've set, and you're not used to this? This is something that you don't know how to, you're not sure yet how you're going to communicate further because it stumped you, because you're not used to others rejecting or pushing or crossing your line. Lanes, something about lanes. And now I'm just thinking bowling. Bowling just came to mind. Somebody just went bowling. I saw the divine eye. This is a divine it I just saw an eye in the ball and it said to me, the divine eye, eye of the beholder, eye of the beholder. So you're holding something in your eye. What is that? There were golden halos laying on the floor, and it reminded me of that game, like the ring toss game where you toss the rings in the pool and then you dive down to get them. But this was like it felt like completely another dimension, perhaps even Atlantis. I mean, this felt like ocean floor. It was very deep. It was dark, like black. But then there were these rings, and the rings were, um, they were like green, red, and purple. Yeah. And the red may have been an orange. I didn't write that down, but I'm remembering that they were, and there were like two or three of them laying down there. Something about going after those golden halos. Also, your third eye, somebody's third eye and root chakras are open and active, which is very nice. That's good. Is that you? Is this something new that's happened to you recently and it's made a world of difference on your life and how you balance? You feel way more balanced now? Yeah, that's good. Bravery. There's some bravery out here. Are you starting to hone your bravery, or have you always been brave? If you have, maybe it's time that you use that as your light working abilities. So then paranoia came up, the worry, the anxiety, anxious. It goes right back to that. And so I want to share with you a few things that you can figure out where your anxiety comes from is by locating what type of anxiety it is. Is it a feeling like the universe doesn't have your back? Then that's your crown chakra. Are you unable to trust your intuition? Or you feel anxious about the unknown? That's your third eye. These are the spots where you're holding your anxiety. Once you know the spot that you hold your anxiety, it's easier to work with. Also, writing out in a journal will help you too with that. Throat, communication, trouble speaking, expressing how you feel. You know, if the bravery part isn't you, or the communication is a struggle, then your throat chakra could be where you're holding your anxiety. Um, and if you feel like you're holding on to past hurts or disconnected from your own feelings, that's your heart. That's your heart. I've felt that before. And I felt disconnected from my own feelings before. And it was the strangest and most scariest kind of feeling I had had ever. It was during a grieving process after losing a parent, and it was also in the middle of a very chaotic storm in a relationship. So it's interesting that that comes up. So if you feel overwhelmed, intimidated, if there's a power dynamic or struggle that you're having with the relationship, or a pressure to perform well, that's going to be in your solar plexus. Okay. That's where your inner child lives. That's your yellow space. So if you're feeling those, that's your solar plexus. And the sacral is if you have a lot of guilt, shame, unprocessed feelings, sexual trauma, or past trauma. Okay. And that's your sacral. Last but not least is your anxiety caused because of material survival in this world? Are you feeling the survival mode kick in and concerned about food, shelter, or money? That is your root chakra. That's your foundation, your stability, your home, and that is where you're holding that anxiety. Okay, so I do hope that that helps you. Share with me in the comments below if that helps you with what you're dealing with. For those of you who are paranoid, worried, anxious, having anxiety for reasons that maybe you don't know, or reasons you maybe think that you know, but after digging deeper or thinking about it longer, giving it some attention, you realize that, hey, I actually think I do have this for a little bit longer. So there was a focus on breath. Be still, okay? Be still. Be still, my heart. Is that in a movie or something? I just said that, and I don't know. I just said it. I had being still wrote down, but I didn't have be still, my heart. My heart be still. I'm not sure. You are very powerful. You're very powerful. You can move mountains. Do you realize that? Do you know you can move mountains? Yeah, they want you to know you can move mountains. So kinetics, telekinetics came up. The ability to move objects with your eyes. And that's pretty cool. Do you take a class for that? Are you able to do that? Like a Jedi Knight? That's a real thing. They do teach that, okay? Tap into your power. They'd like you to tap into your inner knowing and your wisdom. You must go through the dark night of the soul first. Take a smoky quartz, black tourmaline, and obsidian. Work with your earth chakra. Okay, dark night of soul is just as pleasant as it sounds. But it actually is where you will gain a lot of wisdom if you let yourself. And you may go through it more than once. And I would say I don't wish it on anyone, but it's imperative that we all go through that on our journey to actually gain knowledge and wisdom. It's kind of like that's where we find our treasure or our key at a lot of times. Because what we look for and what we ask and what we want, we don't really know how to get it. We don't know how it's going to happen. And you don't think the dark night of the soul would gift you with something, but typically you are gifted with something in that presence. And it's can be like an epiphany for you if you've not ever been through one. But it can very much so be dark, like a dark night for many days and distance, and you're not really connected with others beyond a hermit mode. It could feel like a little bit like isolation, but you're really doing it to enhance your vibration, yourself, and learn and get in touch and in tune with you. It's something you've wanted to do. So that's why it's happened. I was just meant to share that with you, I suppose. And then bourbon and Coke came up, like alcohol spirits or just soda. And is excessive drinking damaging your health? That's for someone out there. Either excessive drinking of soda or alcohol damaging your body. Maybe the doctors recommended that you cut back on your soda or your spirits intake or both. And it's a struggle for you right now. Calling upon some guidance for that can help you. And even I was feeling and sensing to see if anything was going to come down. If it does, I will let you know. But one of the best things that you can do if you are struggling with that is to, well, everyone's body is unique and different, and there are many different ways that people really try to wean themselves from addictions. And this is really about addictions, I feel like, the bourbon and Coke. If you're having trouble, with soda, even if you're having trouble with food, certain foods, it's about really addictions. And I do a daily inner child affirmations reading that's specific to the day. If you want to start watching that, I could recommend you doing that. It has, it I read an excerpt out of the book for the day, and then I pull an oracle card for the day. But it's basically for children of addicts. And so even if you are an addict, like it's helpful for those who have been in addictions and are also trying to reach their inner child, and get in tune with their inner child. So I saw a hint of blue. It was very calming and felt peaceful. A storm is coming. Be grounded. Be ready like the Two of Swords. Be ready like the Two of Swords. The Two of Swords is like you're blindfolded. In the regular tarot, you're blindfolded. You have two swords on each side, so you're ready and prepared, but you're blindfolded. You don't really know what's coming. You just know something's coming. So you want to be ready like that. The storm is coming. Be grounded. Do you have a fascination with fire? Do you have a fascination with fire? There's somebody somewhere, there's something growing inside that will not stop until you give it attention, okay? The message is that you must shine the light on it in order for it to stop, because you do want it to stop. Okay, so you're being asked to shine the light on it. And I got stubbornness, denial. So once you start to really realize it and own it and just take ownership of that feeling and what that is that you're going through, then it'll be a lot better. Hug someone today. That's the message. Hug someone today. Breathe new air. Breathe new air. And if you can't breathe new air, like in your home, they're suggesting an air purifier, a dehumidifier, something about cleansing the air around you. Maybe even you doing sacred smoke. Incense, Palo Santo, sage, there's myrrh, frankincense, there's all kinds of ways. There's those, what are those other little things? The little mister things that you can put essential oils in. I have two of them and I can't remember the name. Diffusers? Yeah, that's it. And then I actually, with the cleansing around and air and airing out things, what came to my mind was airing out your grievances. So maybe just to bring in a little bit of fun. I've been trying to mix up a little fun with all the seriousness, because before this spiritual journey took place, I was, I do have to say, I was a lot more fun as far as my personality, but I was also, yeah, not who I really want to be or who I am now. Just not who I am now. I mean, not who whatever. You know what I'm saying or not saying. I was a different person then, and than who I am now. I actually, yeah, we don't need to talk about me. Let's just move on with this. They're telling me to say. They're telling me to tell you, but I don't know. I think I'll save it. I guess maybe it would help someone else. I don't know how that would help someone else, because really, Spirit helped me get sober. So maybe that's a way I could sum it up for you. Sobriety. Let go, let flow. There's a bright light. It was so bright that it hurt sensitive eyes. It's time for some sunglasses. Just put the sunglasses, and that's telling me that it's time to push forward and push through any obstacles that come your way, that you can handle it, because there will be crossroads or a roadblock or railroad tracks that you have to cross, and it's not like the normal road, but it's something that you have to go over and overcome to get to where you want to be, and to not give up so easily on yourself or on projects or on things that you so desire and you have a passion for, okay? There was a magical flame. Fire is a gift. It shines bright and provides warmth, yet it's also destructive. It can hurt, kill, inflict pain. How does fire relate to humans? Being gifts and destructive. So ask yourself that and think about that. That was a message they had. I felt dizzy. And who recently screamed at the top of their lungs on the top of a mountain? Because that sounds like very freeing and wonderful. Very freeing and wonderful. And if this is you and you have done that, I do recommend watching some of the prior scrying videos, because there are talks of reaching the top, of referencing pinnacles. And okay, so there's a huge release. I felt a release after them asking this, saying, well, they were like, I saw the image actually in the meditation that I was doing. I saw someone. It was like a shadow of someone, and their arms were open wide, and they were just screaming, and I could see just screaming at the top of the mountain. It's such a release. Yeah, kind of makes you want to just do it now, doesn't it? So yellow color has been the color for the past 2 days, and it's the color today too. Yellow, that's our inner child. Again, I do recommend you check out the inner child daily readings that I do. What does your inner child want or need? Have you asked them? Have you talked to him or her today? Care for your inner child. Care for your inner child, okay? It's going to really benefit you in so many ways. Togetherness, connection, community. And the very last thing I got was, it was as if time just slowed down. You know how there's days where it seems like, oh, you wake up and it seems like the morning is like slow, like, oh wow, it's only, you wake up at 6 in the morning and it's like, only 7 o'clock, but you've gotten so much done, you felt so productive that it feels like it's 9 or 10 o'clock already, but it's only been an hour, and it's like just lingering and going slow. And so you're like, okay, I've got enough time. I can take my time. I'll slow down. Then you slow down a little bit more, and then all of a sudden 3 hours roll by, and it seems like, what happened? Then you're like, I thought I had all the time in the world. And yeah, you don't. We don't, do we? So maybe this doesn't happen to you, but it's maybe probably why, one of the reasons I'm not great with time. Time management is not my thing. And in another lifetime, I probably did not even use clocks. I probably lived by the stars and the way the moon was in the sky and the sun. So this is the message that I have for you today. I hope this resonates for you. Please share in the comments below what stood out, how you feel. Definitely if you went to a mountain, so what mountain did you scream at the top of your lungs? And even if it wasn't recently, when I said that, what were you thinking? Like, are you going to do that? Or do you plan to do it? Or did you do it last year or a couple years ago? Or, is it making you reflect back to the last time that you did? And you're like, wow, if I think back to the last time I did, that would have been on the Appalachian Trail. Yeah, but it wasn't really like scream, like a bloody murder scream. It was more like an echo. So scream at the top of my lungs. It's been a long time since I've done that. Anyway, thank you so much for being in tune here with me today. Let me know below how you feel, how this resonates for you. And be sure to subscribe, like, and check out my other videos. Okay? Cosmic Cat signing off. Meow.